Hi guys, and welcome to Kerbal Space Program. Now, as you may have seen, I've made a couple of short montages of me just messing around in Kerbal Space Program, but I thought I'd do a proper career mode playthrough, because that's like the most recent thing that came out on it. The update in 0.22 added all sorts of new fancy things like research trees. I'm sure if you're a fan of Kerbal Space Program, you've probably already seen people like Scott Manley who've done this. It's really quite good actually, so we'll head straight in. Start a new game. I'll just call it RAR, because that's what people call me. No, not Sandbox. And I'm going to have hexagon flag. No, not hexagons. Not a Kerbal hexagon. I don't know what flag I want. I might change the flag to something. Actually, I'll have it as carbon. I might change the flag at some point. Do something of my own. So anyway, career mode, in 0.22 everything got updated. There's now a little kind of pathway linkages between buildings. You've got all this lovely pathwayness and things flash if you go off them funny. We also have a basic, well, this was here before, which is pick up your Kerbals. Then there's also the research center, which is new, and this thing is amazing, really. It's literally just a tech tree. That's all it is. You start off with this, which is just these basic parts. That's all you have. That's it. Really hard to get anywhere else. So basically, it's stuff like this. Now, I am not Scott Manley. I am definitely not Scott Manley. I cannot do 6,000 science in a single mission. I am not that good. So I am going to plod through this as best as I can. Just to put it in perspective, it took me somewhere in the region of 100 flights to complete the tech tree, like first time round. So I kind of know what I'm doing, but it took a while. So hopefully I'll do it better this time for your benefit. So command pod mark 1, liquid fuel engine, solid fuel booster, a small fuel tank, modular girder segment, communicatron, and parachute, even though the parachute doesn't show up. Alright, one thing worth noting is I do have ferrum aerospace on here, simply for the fact that it is superior in aerodynamics. It's actually brilliant. Anything with an aerodynamic nose cone actually goes faster. So, start off with the command pod mark 1, ferrum, go away. Shove it there, and it looks like an actual button. There we go. So, we've got a command pod mark 1, and literally all we're going to do is just shove on, but just in case. You never know. I'm just going to put this on the pad. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to bother saving this, not anything else. I am going to get out, and that is it. Come on. There we go. Right. So, first things first. Crew report, keep data, EVA report, keep data, head down, kind of let go. Take surface sample. Burnt rocket propellant is also trace amounts of conspicuous green substance. Keep that data, and not an EVA report. Not an EVA report there. Okay, let's make this guy run. I actually only figured out how to make this make Kerbals run about 3 days ago. That's how bad I am at this game. Okay, all right, let's get down here. Let's try and get off the launch pad, because I could just build a rocket to do this. Review. Oh, of course I need to store my samples, don't I? Okay, yeah, screw this. I am building a rocket. Let's head back. If I hit recover vessel now, I'll only recover my Kerbal and not anything else. Dun 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 dun. It's a bit faster. Get back there quickly. Only problem with this is you can't just like right click. You can store experiments, but that's about it. You can't actually just head in. Okay. That's that. Recover vessel and science. Yes, like 16 science, and I didn't even move. Like, didn't even go off the pad. Well, at least not with the ship. So yeah, without even going anywhere, I'm able to unlock the first part of it, which is, it might be a bit broken, I don't know, but either way, that gives us a slightly bigger fuel tank, a slightly smaller fuel tank, the mystery goo and a stack decoupler. So let's try and find a way of getting somewhere that isn't here. First off, I'm literally going to sit around and head for places on carbon, because it is just easier. I don't even need that. I already got a parachute on it. Don't particularly want to launch my parachute and my engine at the same time. That wouldn't be very good. I don't really name my rockets until they get a bit bigger as well, like worth naming, like put loads of time and effort into them. Okay, SAS on, resources, okay. Just balance this carefully, careful. Good thing about Ferrum is going through the air is actually a little easier if you are a pointy nose, or have a pointy nose. But it also gets a bit harder to turn. Open parachute, drop speed. Hopefully it broke me. Well, that didn't work. Nope. Well, that was a miserable failure. I know what I forgot. It was a stack decoupler. Okay, revert to vehicle assembly. I'm not doing this Iron Man mode. I'm not gonna, like, if I crash, I am screwed, and if I kill a Kerbal, they die forever type deal. I'm actually just gonna revert if I can. Okay, so stack decoupler, and maybe something a little better at controlling it. Also, I might want to take some mystery goo. You know, just for scientific accuracy. I'm not going to transmit data, I'm just going to get recovered. Okay. First things first, come on. Okay, so zoom into the craft a bit, throttle up a tiny bit, press SAS, launch. Okay, that was a stupid maneuver. Always check your staging. Always check your staging. I do not want to launch my engine and fire the decoupler at the same time. I want to fire the engine first and then decouple later, but I also want to probably pull the chute when I decouple. Although, that may or may not be preferable. I don't know, it depends on the situations. I'll leave them together and only separate them if I need to. That way I can fire them both instantaneously in case I'm heading towards the ground really, really, really fast. Okay. Fire that. Fire that. I fire this up until I got just enough to get above the surface. Okay, SAS can stay like... No. Hang on. Just SAS steadily like that. Just, instead of... I can't really use this now because it's kind of showing vertical, like, velocity sideways. And I gotta be careful with that. So I gotta kind of gauge how much I need to change my throttle by how much my, I'm going up and down. So I really need to head over more. Come on, and back up again. They're just using fuel at a very slow rate, so you gotta screw this. Max power. Now, Ferrum, the problem with Ferrum is that's going to keep me on a relatively decent trajectory, and because of my extremely low mass, I attain masses of speed very quickly. I'm actually obtaining max speeds at under 4,000 now, that's bad. Okay, do that. That'll slow me down, that thing will continue quite happily of its own volition. And my parachute should keep me from dying horrifically. Should. Physical time warp this, I can't be asked to wait. While we're up here, crew report. I'm also going to try and pop out and get an EVA while I'm once the parachute's opened. Come on. Okay. And open. Now I should slow down to an incredibly slow pace. Hopefully I won't die. EVA report. Head back inside. Okay, that's what was that? IS shielded. False. That might be a ferrum thing. I don't know. If there's anything that pops up that I really don't know about, that'll be ferrum aerospace, probably. I could cut the parachute, but I can't kill Jebediah. He's just too awesome. Okay, get rid of SAS. I'm just using electricity for no purpose there. It's not like I'm bobbing around everywhere. Come on. Getting to the ground is so slow. Okay. Hit the ground. Observe mystery goo. You observe the goo. Observe mystery goo. Oh, you observe the goo again. Okay, and crew report again. No, can't. Okay, I can't overwrite the existing crew report, so I'll just go outside with Jebediah. EVA report there. Store. Okay, never mind then. Oh crap. Take surface sample. Yep, looks like dirt. EVA report. Nope, I don't want to overwrite the EVA report. Let's grab, climb, go inside. Bored anyway, dump the experiments I couldn't, so it's just the EVA report only. That's pretty much all I can do now, so I gotta recover the vessel, and hopefully you'll get enough science to start getting to one of the next stages. I hope. Hey, 38 science, that's actually pretty good. See, I've done 2 flights. That's not bad. So, first things first, general rocketry. A non-vectoring version of the engine we have. The engine we have is the LVT-30, which has vectoring, which means it changes the angle. It thrusts that to change yaw direction slightly, which is good. But this one's the 215. Sorry, no, this is the one that doesn't have that, but has more power. And this is the one that does have the vectoring, but has a tiny bit less power. They're basically the same. It's LTV-45. This was the Separatron, which is extremely useful if you find that you've got particularly large sections and you're staging it, and it's kind of still crashing back into you as you're flying, and causing the entire mission to basically go tits up. So what you want is Separatrons, ideally, just placed in such a way that they'll fire into your ship and fire the pieces away from you. Oh, and a giant solid fuel booster. There's also aerodynamic nose cone, which is useful. Winglets, which is just helping stabilizing, and radial decoupler, which is good for flight gauging. But then there's also this tiny little engine, which is really useful. Lander stuff and radial parachutes. I think I'm going to go for these 2 actually. And leaves me with 5 science. They are extremely useful. I want to head to this science tech. Basically means I can do the most science I can as early as possible wherever I want to. But I'm actually mainly heading for solar panels because they are the single most useful thing I've ever had on this. They're just... Of course there is the thermoelectric things, but I've never actually used them. So I don't know if they run out. I mean, they're not supposed to, but you know, in real life any form of thermoelectric like that will run out over a number of years. So in theory, those things would eventually deplete. Okay, that's winglet and better cockpit, stay putnik, and inline reaction wheel. Useful for larger things, so ideally that will be better for balancing out if we get bigger rocketry. Battery for just holding more charge. Comms thing. Launch stability handle. That's kind of useful. Anyway, so let's try and get into space at all with what we have. Just at all. Not even like necessarily stay up there. Okay, first things first, probably a good idea. Actually, I just traded out the same one for the same one, didn't I? Crap. Okay. This is... Okay, once we're in space, vector thrusting is not really much of an issue. Mostly because any form of electric charge would be depleted by the SAS compensating, the inline reaction wheels inside this pod, compensating, will be replenished by the engine while it's firing. So let's go for the slightly more powerful engine for any form of getting up there in orbital circularization. But get the radial decoupler, and I always have angle snap on. It is too useful not to. Now, do I go for 6, or do I go? Actually, I think I know what I'll do. I'll do what I've done before, which is place. Basically, the center of mass is like here and stuff. So I place a triplet of connectors just at the center of mass, and triplet connectors there. This means that I can then place fuel tanks on the center of mass, making sure it doesn't really move, and place engines underneath it, meaning the center of thrust is still under the center of mass. I think that's where it's meant to be. So I'm pretty sure if the center of thrust is above the center of mass in some way, then something I think it becomes unstable. I'm not sure. Oh dear, that didn't quite work. Okay, let's take that. Now the good thing about it is if you grab an internal part, it takes all of the parts it's connected to that aren't connected. Okay, there we go. So that works. Liquid fuel engine. Do I only have that? Oh yeah, I only got that engine, didn't I? Yeah. This thing does have thrust vectoring, but it's tiny. But that's not really what. It's not really a concern, really. What actually is a concern is not being able to. Actually, no, that's fine. Okay. The engine will not. There we go. Okay. Triple of those engines, and when I'm further down, triple of those engines. Okay, that should work. And let's go for some nose cones, because in Ferrum that actually makes a difference. As one of Scott Manley's videos that he did actually provides an excellent example of just how useful Ferrum aerospace is. Just one example of how it's superior in rockets alone. Okay, there we go. Sometimes it doesn't snap on. Basically what he did is he had 2 rockets that would launch simultaneously from the pad, and they would fly straight, and one would have a nose cone and one wouldn't. And without Ferrum, the one with the nose cone is actually slower overall, and in Ferrum aerospace the one with the nose cone is slower to start with, but ends up significantly faster. So it is proof that in Ferrum these nose cones are not pointless and are actually useful. Okay, so I have some tail fins just to keep everything nice. It says the center of lift is like that, but it's not important. Center of thrust, center of thrust basically directly underneath. Looking good. Okay. Did I get those other parachutes? I did. Okay. Being as I will be coming down, you know, as it's just for the purposes of this, why not make this one of those? Just rescue these, because you know I want to reuse them later. The good practice are in case they change the courier mode slightly, where you actually have to buy things in. Okay, so just add all these parachutes. So when I decouple that, these parachutes fire. When I'm firing that engine's all the way up there. Oh dear. When I fire these 3 parachutes, I want these. When I decouple these, I want these parachutes to fire. When I decouple these, I want these parachutes to fire. And finally, yeah, that works actually. And actually, I don't want that engine firing until the last, because I've got these triple rockets here. So, no, I don't want to put it there. That'll mean I fire the engine just as I separate it from the entire craft. That's a bit stupid. Okay, this is the first serious thing we're actually going to try and get in space, so in theory this should be space attempt 1. Now I say attempt because this is not a confirmed design. I have no idea if it'll actually work, so I can't, like, say this is a space vehicle Mark 1. When I get it right, if it proves that I can actually get this thing into orbit, I will probably call it Orbiter Mark 1 of some kind. Nothing as awesome as Markiplier, who calls it Crashy McSplody. Anyway, so we're on the pad, everything seems to be okay, everything checks out, stick on ASAS, throttle up, and only one thing left for it. And actually, if I want to stage this properly, I want to make one final adjustment. I don't want these engines here. Now the good thing is I could take individual stages and move them around, so I can move that later. Anyway. Oh, open the launch. Don't. It's already going off course. I might have to fire up those other engines already just to get it back on course. Actually, no, it's not doing too bad. The only problem is if I try to make a correction, it tends to make it worse for a bit. So I'll just have to make the correction as these burn out. Okay, fire up those. Separate them. And my speed is dropping massively. And Ferrum Aerospace is putting so much pressure against the ship that I can't move it with the reaction wheels. Even the thrust vectoring isn't doing much. Okay, my speed is dropping massively now. Fire this engine. Okay, now we're rising again. Still no thrust vectoring. Oh dear. And Ferrum, in its infinite wisdom, has screwed me over, I think. Anyway, while we're up here, crew report. The shore's look inviting. Ah, that's pretty. It's very pretty. Now can I please go upwards? The only problem with this, I don't have enough steering to make it, like, go the up, and I should screw this. I know how to deal with this. Nope, that's not enough. And now we're just solidly going sideways. Oh, that is... Oh, now we're going down again! Okay, bail. Screw you guys. And screw you. Oh, did I not put a stack decoupler? Oh, no, the stack decoupler just did work. It just, Oops. Hey! There we go. Let's turn off SAS. Throttle down as well for maximum acceleration. Oh, dear God. Okay, there we go. It was trying to spin me around. So yeah, everything's quite happily off on its own. In theory, the rockets stop firing before they hit the floor. Else they're screwed. Come on. They seem to be dropping relatively gently. I'm not sure about that one. That one seems to be going... See, this is why I call them attempts. Because that seriously failed. I know I now have to have that central stage probably burning for quite a while. No! I'm still 3,000 meters up! Jebediah can survive that, actually, to be honest. 3,000 meters into water is survivable. I might as well just try and slow my descent somewhat. Just casually use every scrap of fuel in my pack to make sure that I don't hit the water at like terminal velocity, or death velocity. Nope! He died! I killed Jebediah Kerman. Okay, revert to vehicle assembly. There's no way I'm letting that happen again. Jebediah will not die. Okay. Change staging so that we fire the engines at roughly the same time. Okay. Add another stage. Stick these engines here. And... in theory that will work. Save that. Launch that. Let's hope it works! I love the music in the background. Okay. Fire up. And we are go for launch. Looking good, looking good. It's relatively stable. I'm not tipping over, at least not much anyway. It's like a pixel on the ball. I'm going a bit fast for this section of the atmosphere, actually. Although it's Ferrum, so I'm not... I'm sorry. 3,000 meters up, and this thing's already ticking quite a way up. I'm just going to take this down, though, because I know that I do not need to be that fast at this section of the atmosphere. Also, I'm just expending energy. Basically, in the blue area, you keep it underneath 200, sorry. Which I really need to do. However, I'm at 10,000 now, so I would make a start to make a turn and fire back up again. Trying to make a turn. Okay, there we go. Ferrum's starting to loosen its grip again with the aerodynamics, and because we're above that section, and I'm trying to turn, but SAS isn't able to compensate very easily for the aerodynamic effects that are still currently around. So I'm trying to tip over gently, so I can coax my that yellow thing round back onto the line. There we go. Tip down like this. Try not to snap to a 45-degree angle straight away, because it's like 10k and then 45. It does work. It's not the most efficient, but it works. When in Ferrum aerospace, though, it will pretty much just tear your ship apart. Trying to go from straight to 45 will just kill you. Okay, is this about to run out? It is as well. Good God. Well, my central engine's about to run out, but that's fine. Okay, we're getting relatively up there. Those small engines are quite happily firing for a while. Orbital view for the first time, and our apoapsis is relatively high. Okay, these tiny engines are nowhere near good enough. I'm just gonna have to do the best I can while I'm up there. Alright, let's try and head up a bit more. I wasn't heading at 45 degrees still. That's basically not scratching the apoapsis. That worries me. These engines are terrible. Do not use them. I think okay, I think I know how to change my staging. I'm not sure. I have an idea, but it could be terrible. Okay, while I'm up here, I think the air is thin enough to get out an EVA. I think it worked. EVA report. Okay. Oh, it done. Okay, no, it did. Hey, review stored data. Okay, and crew report. Keep data. Okay, that's pretty much all I can really do. Let's just fire up the engines and burn out the rest of the fuel and see if I get anywhere. Screw this. Okay, I'm gonna fire retrograde so I slow some of my horizontal velocity down, in theory. Gravity's taking over, but you know. You'd appear these engines basically have no thrust. And these things have 200, this thing has 50, so I basically have 215 on this thing. Okay, that's done. Fire off. Goodbye. You fire off as well. Goodbye. You can have your parachutes back later. And I'm gonna there is some atmosphere up here. Ferrum is kind of somewhat kicking in, but I don't know. You're happily gonna go there. Hopefully I won't get struck by my own debris. I'm thinking I launched it far enough, early enough. Dun dun dun, 25,000, 24,000. I'm coming in very fast, although I'm starting to slow down now because here comes the atmosphere. This is good. Oh dear. Oh yeah. Ah, I didn't observe the mystery go. Keep data. Keep data. I am terrible for trying to do research on the way up and down and stuff. I like just get into orbit then do research because I can spam it up there with no time constraints. I'm terrible at that. Come on. Still screaming down at hundreds of meters per second. Even now. I'm going to release my parachute. It won't deploy, and its drag alone will be massive. That's seriously bringing my speed down now. Now this isn't going to deploy till 500 meters, so 140, 139. Let's speed this up a bit. 120. Okay, this thing's still at worrying speeds. Okay, and deploy, and it takes me to 7.2 meters per second. That's not bad for just a capsule with some goo on it. Things are splashing down around me. Come on. Okay, that rocket did not work. I only have one recommendation. More power. Anyway, so that is the third flight, I believe. We've just gotten 20 science out of that in total, which means I have 25 science. Let's pop in here and see if we can get anything at all. I might as well get general rocketry. That gives us the other engine, which is useful as hell, and solid fuel boosters, which will get us up there. Okay, that'll be it for today then, and I shall see you guys next time.